From the frozen plains of Ukraine to the crowded streets of Gaza, the world is on fire. Global conflicts are no longer distant headlines. They are reshaping alliances, redrawing borders, and reminding us of an uncomfortable truth. Military strength still speaks louder than diplomacy. In this documentary, Voice of Africa breaks down the top 10 military powers on Earth, not to glorify war, but to understand the forces that shape our world. Because if Africa is to chart its own course, we must first see the board clearly. Let us begin. 10. Italy. At number 10, Italy. A nation famous for pasta, fashion, and ancient ruins. But behind the beauty lies a formidable military machine. With a GDP of over $2 trillion, Rome spends more than $32 billion on defense. Italy fields 165,000 active troops, backed by 18,000 reservists and a 5,000-strong paramilitary force. On the ground, 200 tanks and over 60,000 armored vehicles. In the air, 800 aircraft, including 90 fighters and 400 helicopters. At sea, 2 aircraft carriers, 4 destroyers, 13 frigates, and 8 submarines. Italy does not own nuclear weapons, but it hosts 35 American warheads as a key NATO partner. A quiet power, but a power nonetheless. 9. Pakistan. Number 9. Pakistan. Despite economic struggles and an energy crisis, Islamabad maintains a formidable fighting force. With a GDP of $370 billion, Pakistan allocates about $7 billion to defense. Its population of 241 million supports a military of 64,000 active personnel, 550,000 reservists, and a staggering 500,000 paramilitary troops. Pakistan's land arsenal includes nearly 4,000 tanks. Its air force flies over 1,400 aircraft, including 387 fighters. At sea, 2 destroyers, 9 frigates, and 8 submarines. And crucially, Pakistan possesses around 170 nuclear warheads, a key element of its balance of power with India. 8. Turkey. Number 8. Turkey. A NATO member that has dramatically reshaped regional power dynamics with its advanced drones and electronic warfare. With a GDP of $1.15 trillion, Ankara invests $16 billion annually in defense. 85 million people supply 355,000 active troops, 378,000 reservists, and 15,000 paramilitary forces. Turkey's ground forces boast over 2,000 tanks and 55,000 armored vehicles. Its air force flies 1,600 aircraft, including 205 fighters. The Navy fields 16 frigates, 9 corvettes, and 12 submarines. Turkey also hosts 20 American nuclear weapons under NATO sharing. It is a rising power that the world ignores at its peril. 7. Japan. Number 7. Japan. Bound by a pacifist constitution, yet possessing one of the most technologically advanced militaries on Earth. With a $5 trillion GDP, Tokyo spends just 1%, roughly $50 billion, on its self-defense forces. A nation of 123 million people supports 247,000 active troops, 56,000 reservists, and 25,000 paramilitary personnel. Japan's ground forces include over 500 tanks. Its air force flies nearly 1,500 aircraft, including 217 fighters. At sea, 36 destroyers, 23 submarines, and a fleet of patrol vessels. Japan has no nuclear weapons, a commitment forged in the ashes of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But its naval and aerial capabilities make it a formidable guardian of the Pacific. 6. United Kingdom. Number 6. The United Kingdom. A global military powerhouse with a rich history of naval dominance, cyber warfare, and special operations. With a GDP of $3.13 trillion, London funds a $65 billion defense budget. 67 million people supply 185,000 active troops and 94,000 reservists. The UK has no paramilitary forces. The British Army operates just over 200 tanks but fields over 27,000 armored vehicles. The Royal Air Force commands 664 aircraft, including 120 fighters. The Royal Navy showcases 2 aircraft carriers, 6 destroyers, 11 frigates, and 10 submarines. And as a recognized nuclear state, the UK maintains 225 warheads. 5. South Korea. Number 5. South Korea. A nation shaped by the constant threat from its northern neighbor. With a GDP of $1.8 trillion, Seoul invests $44 billion annually in defense. 51 million people support 600,000 active troops, 3.7 million reservists, and 120,000 paramilitary forces. South Korea's ground forces are massive. Over 2,500 tanks and nearly 67,000 armored vehicles. Its artillery strength is staggering, over 3,000 self-propelled guns and nearly 5,000 towed units. The Air Force flies over 1,500 aircraft, including 354 fighters. The Navy fields 13 destroyers, 17 frigates, and 22 submarines. Despite nuclear threats from the north, Seoul remains committed to diplomacy and non-nuclear development. 4. India. Number 4. India, the world's fourth largest military and a rising power in South Asia. With a population of 1.4 billion and a GDP of $3.73 trillion, New Delhi spends $74 billion on defense. India fields 1.4 million active troops, 1.1 million reservists, and 2.5 million paramilitary personnel, a total force of 5 million. India's land arsenal includes 4,700 tanks and over 150,000 armored vehicles. The Air Force flies nearly 2,300 aircraft, including 660 fighters. The Navy operates 2 aircraft carriers, 12 destroyers, 12 frigates, 18 corvettes, and 18 submarines. With 164 nuclear warheads, India follows a no first use policy, a commitment to not initiate nuclear strikes. 3. China. Number 3. China. The People's Liberation Army is a global leader in military technology, advancing rapidly in stealth aircraft, hypersonic missiles, and naval capabilities. With a staggering GDP of $17.7 trillion, Beijing funds a $224 billion defense budget. A population of 1.42 billion supports 2.03 million active troops, 510,000 reservists, and 625,000 paramilitary members. China's ground forces include 5,000 tanks and over 174,000 armored vehicles. Its Air Force flies over 3,300 aircraft, including 1,200 fighters. The Navy, the world's largest, operates 2 aircraft carriers, 49 destroyers, 42 frigates, 72 corvettes, and 61 submarines. With 410 nuclear warheads, China is reshaping the balance of power in Asia and beyond. 2. Russia. Number 2. Russia. Despite the challenges of its war in Ukraine, Moscow retains a formidable military, especially in ground forces and nuclear capabilities. With a GDP of $1.7 trillion, Russia spends $100 billion on defense. A population of 145 million supports 1.32 million active troops, 2 million reservists, and 250,000 paramilitary members. Russia's ground forces are enormous, nearly 15,000 tanks, over 160,000 armored vehicles, and thousands of artillery pieces. Its Air Force is the world's second largest, with over 4,200 aircraft, including 809 fighters. The Navy operates 1 aircraft carrier, 14 destroyers, 12 frigates, 83 corvettes, and 65 submarines. And with 5,800 nuclear warheads, Russia remains a strategic superpower. 1. United States of America. Number 1. The United States of America. With the most powerful and technologically advanced military on the planet, the U.S. sustains global dominance. A GDP of $26.9 trillion fuels an $831 billion defense budget, more than the next 10 countries combined. A population of 336 million supports 1.32 million active troops and 799,000 reservists. The U.S. Army commands a vast arsenal, over 4,600 tanks and 36,000 armored vehicles. The Air Force, the world's largest, flies 13,200 aircraft, including 1,854 advanced fighters like the F-35 and F-22. The Navy operates 11 aircraft carriers, 75 destroyers, 64 submarines, and projects power across every ocean. With 5,200 nuclear warheads, America's military reach is truly global. Before we wrap up, I need to ask you something. We just walked through 10 of the most powerful militaries on Earth. But where is Africa on this list? Not a single African nation appears among the top 10. Not Nigeria, not Egypt, not South Africa. That is not a critique, it is a fact. Africa's military budgets combined are a fraction of what the United States spends alone. But here is the truth. Military power is not the only power. Economic integration, technological innovation, diplomatic influence, these are the weapons of the 21st century. And on those fronts, Africa has the potential to lead. If you believe African voices deserve to be heard in these global conversations, hit the like button right now, share this video, comment where you are watching from. Because the world is changing and Africa must have a seat at the table. This has been Voice of Africa. We do not shy away from hard truths. We document the forces that shape our world and the power that lies in our hands. Subscribe, share, and remember, the most powerful weapon is an informed people. Until next time.